Welcome to a journey through time and tide. Let yourself settle in, breathe slowly, and let these stories wash over you like gentle waves against a shore. Tonight, we begin not in a living room, not in a suburban backyard, but on the cold, windswept coast of Newfoundland, where the Atlantic crashes against rocky shores, where fog rolls in thick as wool, and where, long ago, a remarkable dog was born of necessity. Our story starts with ancestry. Labradors descend from the St. John's water dog of Newfoundland. Picture this place, an island off the eastern coast of Canada, where winters are brutal and the sea is everything. Life there evolved around fishing, the daily harvest from cold, unforgiving waters. And beside the fishermen, working as partners, were these dogs. Not the Labradors we know today, but their ancestors. The St. John's water dog. Smaller than a Newfoundland, compact, efficient, built for a specific purpose. Let that image settle. Breathe deeply. And what was that purpose? These dogs hauled fishing nets and retrieved escaped cod in icy waters. Imagine the scene, dawn breaking over a fishing village, boats returning laden with the night's catch. But fishing nets are heavy, soaked with seawater, difficult for men to haul onto shore or into boats. The dogs would grip the nets in their mouths, pull with all their strength, help bring in the catch that meant survival. And when fish escaped, when cod slipped from nets and splashed back into the water, the dogs dove in without hesitation. Into water so cold it could stop a human heart. They'd swim, grab the fish, bring it back. Nothing wasted. Every fish mattered. Think about what this required. Not just willingness to swim, but the ability to survive it. Day after day. In water that formed ice at the edges. In weather that numbed fingers and froze ropes. These dogs needed more than courage. They needed the right equipment. And they had it. Short, dense coats resisted ice buildup better than long-haired breeds. This wasn't about beauty. This was about survival. A long coat, like a Newfoundland's, would become waterlogged. Heavy. And worse, in freezing temperatures, that wet fur would ice over. The dog would become encased, weighed down, unable to work. But a short coat? Water beaded off it. The dense undercoat trapped warmth close to the skin. And ice couldn't grip what it couldn't penetrate. These dogs could plunge into winter waters, shake off, and be ready to work again within minutes. Form following function in its purest expression. Let yourself relax. Breathe slowly. Now, how did these working dogs of Newfoundland become known beyond their remote island? Fishermen showcased these dogs in Poole, England, performing water retrieves. Poole, a harbour town on England's southern coast, where Newfoundland fishing ships would dock. The fishermen were proud of their dogs, perhaps understandably so. They'd demonstrate what these animals could do. Throwing objects into the harbour, watching the dogs leap in without hesitation, retrieve perfectly, shake off and wait eagerly for the next task. English spectators watched in amazement. They'd never seen dogs quite like this. So eager for water. So capable in it. So tireless. Word spread. Admiration grew. But back in Newfoundland, tragedy loomed. Heavy Newfoundland dog taxes nearly wiped out the original St. John's dogs. The government imposed steep taxes on dog ownership, perhaps trying to raise revenue, perhaps responding to concerns about rabies or livestock predation. But the effect was devastating. Poor fishing families couldn't afford to keep multiple dogs. They had to choose survival or companionship. The St. John's water dogs, so essential to the fishing trade, began to disappear. Fewer litters were bred. Fewer dogs worked the boats. An entire type was being erased by bureaucracy and economics. But across the ocean, some had taken notice. English nobles imported surviving dogs in the early 1800s. These weren't fishermen. These were wealthy landowners with vast estates. Men who hunted waterfowl. Men who saw in these sturdy water dogs something extraordinary. They arranged to have dogs shipped from Newfoundland, breeding stock, dogs that could be the foundation of something new. It was a rescue mission of sorts, though they likely didn't think of it that way at the time. Breathe. Let this history unfold gently. One nobleman in particular became the breed's savior. The 3rd Earl of Malmesbury began refining the breed in England. His name was James Harris, and he became obsessed with these dogs from across the Atlantic. He called them Labrador dogs, though they came from Newfoundland, perhaps because they reminded him of the Labrador Sea. Or perhaps the name simply felt right. He bred them carefully, selected for working ability, for temperament, for that incredible water drive. His kennels became the center of what would become the Labrador Retriever. And from his breeding program came legends. Buccleuch Ned and Buccleuch Avon became foundation dogs. These two males, born in the mid-1800s, appear in virtually every modern Labrador's pedigree if you trace back far enough. They were the pillars, the cornerstones. Ned was known for his intelligence and biddable nature. Avon for his drive and athleticism. Together, through their offspring, they shaped what Labradors would become. Every yellow lab. Every black lab. Every chocolate lab alive today carries their genetic legacy. But the breed wasn't developed in isolation. Crosses with flat-coated retrievers shaped the modern Labrador. The flat-coated retriever was already established in England, elegant, longer in leg, with that flowing coat. Bringing flat-coat blood into the Labrador lines added refinement, perhaps improved scenting ability, adjusted proportions slightly. It was done thoughtfully, carefully, always maintaining that core St. John's water dog character. The result was something new, something that took the working foundation and built upon it. Let your breathing deepen. Rest in this knowledge. And what of the originals? The dogs from which all this sprang? The original St. John's dog became extinct by the 1970s. Despite being so essential, despite being the ancestor of one of the world's most popular breeds, the St. John's water dog vanished from Newfoundland. The last known photographs show dogs that look remarkably like modern Labradors, but stockier, perhaps more varied in appearance. They worked the boats until fishing methods changed, until modern equipment made their labor unnecessary. And then, there were none. The breed that had survived centuries of harsh coastal life couldn't survive the 20th century's modernization. But they live on. Every time a Labrador retrieves a duck from cold water, every time one plunges joyfully into a lake, every time that Ottertail swings with happiness, the St. John's water dog is there. Not extinct, transformed, preserved in their descendants. Those fishermen's companions, those net haulers and cod retrievers, they became the foundation of something that would touch millions of lives worldwide. So now you know where Labradors come from. Not from comfort, not from leisure, but from work. From necessity. From icy water and fishing nets and the need for a partner who could survive what humans could barely endure. They were bred by environment as much as by intention. Shaped by the Atlantic, refined by English nobility, carrying forward a legacy of service and capability. This is not a breed born by accident. This is not a pet that happened to become popular. This is a working dog, a survivor, an athlete of water and will, carrying centuries of purpose in every cell. Rest now, breathe deeply, and know that we've only begun to explore the remarkable story of the Labrador Retriever. There is so much more to discover, so many more chapters to unfold. But for now, simply rest in the knowledge of where it all began. On a cold shore, in freezing water, with fishermen who needed help, and dogs who gave it without hesitation. Let that image settle over you like fog rolling in from the sea, gentle, encompassing, peaceful, and drift, softly, into the next part of our journey. And so we continue, gently, into the architecture of the Labrador. We've learned where they came from. Now let's understand how they're made. Every curve, every feature, every detail serves a purpose. Let's explore together, slowly, the physical poetry written into this breed. Take a deep breath, and consider the coat. Labradors have a dense, water-repellent double coat. Run your hand over a Labrador, not just across the surface, but push down, and you'll feel two distinct layers. The outer coat, those guard hairs, they're straight and somewhat coarse. Not silky, not soft, practical. Underneath lies the undercoat, thick, soft, woolly almost. This double system works like the finest outdoor gear. The outer layer repels water, sheds it away. The inner layer traps warmth, creates insulation. Together, they allow a dog to enter near freezing water and emerge, shake, and be perfectly comfortable within moments. Picture drops of water, beading on the surface, rolling off rather than soaking in. That's what water repellent means. Not waterproof, but remarkably resistant. The coat has a slightly oily quality, natural oils that enhance this repellency. It's why Labradors can swim for extended periods, why they can work in rain and sleet, why water is their element rather than their enemy. Let yourself relax into this understanding. Breathe slowly. Now look down at their feet. Labradors have webbed paws that act like paddles while swimming. Yes, webbed. Like a duck, like an otter. Between each toe, skin stretches, creating a broad surface. On land, you might not notice it. But in water, those paws spread wide, and suddenly they're not just feet, they're propulsion systems. Each stroke pushes against water with maximum surface area. It's efficient, powerful, elegant. Watch a Labrador swim, and you'll see they move with surprising speed and grace. Those webbed feet are part of the secret. And then, the tail. Oh, the tail. The signature otter tail provides powerful propulsion in water. This isn't a delicate, feathered tail. This isn't a whip-like tail. This is thick at the base, tapering gradually toward the tip, covered in that same short, dense coat. It looks exactly like an otter's tail, hence the name. And like an otter's tail, it functions as a rudder and a propeller. In water, the tail sweeps side to side, driving the dog forward, helping them turn, maintaining balance. It's a fifth limb, really. A steering mechanism and engine combined. On land, That tail wags with such enthusiasm it can clear a coffee table. It's a lethal weapon at wagging height, knocking drinks, bruising shins, expressing joy with reckless abandon. But in water, it's a masterpiece of biological engineering. Breathe deeply. Let these images form in your mind. The head tells its own story. Broad skulls and flexible lips create watertight retrieval seals in Labradors. Think about what they were bred to retrieve. Waterfowl, fish, objects from water. The mouth needs to grip gently, not damage the game, but firmly enough that nothing slips free. That broad skull provides space for powerful jaw muscles, but not the crushing power of a guard breed. It's controlled strength. And those lips, soft, flexible, they mold around whatever the dog carries, creating a seal. Water doesn't flood into the mouth. The bird stays dry and undamaged. It's called a soft mouth, and it's essential to the breed's purpose. Look at the tail again, from a different angle. Thick tails are straight off the top line with no feathering. The top line, that's the dog's back, from shoulders to tail. The tail extends naturally from it, not rising high, not dropping low, just straight back, like an extension of the spine. And no feathering, no long hair waving in the breeze like a setter's tail. Just that thick, round, otter shape. Functional. Purposeful. Every element designed for swimming efficiency. Let yourself sink deeper into relaxation. And that coat we discussed? Short coats minimize drag and water retention. Imagine swimming in heavy clothes versus a streamlined swimsuit. A long coat would create drag, catch water, slow the dog down. It would become waterlogged, heavy, exhausting to carry. But a short coat? It glides through water. It sheds water immediately upon exit. The dog can shake once, twice, and be substantially dry. Ready to work again. Ready to retrieve again. No waiting for a long coat to dry. No energy wasted carrying extra water weight. Now, the face, that beloved face. Expressive eyes and drop ears complete the classic look. The eyes, brown or hazel usually, set fairly wide apart, they radiate kindness. Intelligence. That famous Labrador warmth. They're not hard, not suspicious, not aloof. They look at you with openness, with hope, with that eternal optimism the breed is known for. And the ears, they hang down, drop close to the head. Not long and flowing like a spaniel's, but moderate. They frame the face. They give the dog that gentle, approachable expression. Those drop ears serve a purpose beyond aesthetics. They protect the ear canal somewhat during swimming, keeping water from rushing directly in. They're less prone to injury than upright ears might be in thick cover. Function and form, always intertwined. Breathe, rest in this knowledge. Now let's talk about growth. Labradors mature in height by 6 to 12 months. They shoot up relatively quickly. That gangly puppy phase, all legs and awkwardness, by 6 months, they're often nearly full height. Maybe they'll grow another inch or two over the next 6 months. But the vertical growth? That happens fast. You blink, and suddenly your puppy is eye level with the counter, can reach things they couldn't reach before, has transformed from compact fluffball to leggy adolescent. But height isn't maturity. Muscular frames continue filling out until around age 2. Even though they've reached their full height by a year, they're still skinny, lean, all bones and angles. The chest needs to deepen. The muscles need to develop. The body needs to broaden and strengthen. This takes time. It takes proper nutrition. It takes exercise that builds muscle without damaging growing joints. By 2 years old, a Labrador finally looks like an adult. Substantial. Solid. The full expression of what they were meant to be. This slow maturation is important to understand. That yearling Labrador, still a puppy in many ways, still developing, still shouldn't be asked to do the work of an adult dog. Patience, proper conditioning, allowing time for the body to finish what it started. And through all this growth, through puppyhood and adolescence, one feature remains constant. Thick coats insulate against cold water and harsh weather. Even a Labrador puppy has that double coat. Perhaps not as developed as an adult's, but it's there. As they mature, it fills in, becomes denser, more effective. By adulthood, that coat is armor against the elements. Snow doesn't faze them. Rain is merely refreshing. Cold water, that's where they're happiest. Watch a Labrador in winter, playing in snow, rolling in it, completely unbothered while you're bundled in layers. That coat is working, creating a microenvironment next to the skin, keeping them comfortable in conditions that would chill other breeds to the bone. Let that understanding settle. Breathe deeply. So there you have it. The body built for water. Every feature purposeful. The double coat repelling water and providing warmth. Webbed feet for swimming power. The otter tail for propulsion and steering. The broad skull and soft mouth for perfect retrieves. The straight, thick tail extending from the top line. The short coat minimizing drag. The expressive face with kind eyes and protective drop ears. Rapid height growth followed by years of filling out. And that magnificent coat, insulating against anything weather can throw at them. This is not a body that happened by chance. This is engineering. This is generations of selection for specific tasks in specific environments. Every Labrador carries this legacy in their physical form. Even the ones who've never seen a duck, never retrieved from water, never worked a day in their lives. The body remembers. The body knows. The body is ready. Because water is not just where Labradors work. Water is who they are. It's written in every feature. Encoded in every trait. A love letter to swimming, carved in flesh and bone and coat. Rest now, breathe peacefully, and carry this understanding with you. The Labrador's body is a masterpiece of practical design. Beautiful not despite its purpose, but because of it. Let that appreciation wash over you like water, gentle, encompassing, perfect, and drift, softly, into the next chapter of our journey together. And now, we step inside. We've explored the history, the body, the perfect physical design. But what of the mind? What happens behind those warm, expressive eyes? Let's settle in together, breathe slowly, and discover the heart and intelligence that makes a Labrador truly special. First, the defining characteristic. Labradors are eager to please and highly people-oriented. This isn't just friendliness, it's something deeper. It's a fundamental need to be connected to humans. To make you happy. To see your smile and know they caused it. Watch a Labrador learning a new command. The moment they understand what you want, their whole body wags. Not just the tail, everything. They're thrilled not just to succeed, but to have pleased you. This desire to please is their core motivation. It's why they train so well, why they try so hard, why they look at you with such hope and devotion. People-oriented means they don't do well alone. They're not independent dogs content to entertain themselves. They want to be where you are, doing what you're doing, involved in your life. This makes them wonderful companions, but challenging for people who work long hours or travel frequently. A Labrador left alone too much becomes sad, anxious, sometimes destructive. Not from spite, from loneliness. Let that understanding settle. Breathe deeply. And they have the intelligence to back up that eagerness. Labradors rank among the top 10 most intelligent dog breeds. Intelligence in dogs comes in different forms, but Labradors excel at working intelligence. The ability to learn commands, to understand what humans want, to problem solve in cooperation with people. Studies show they can learn a new command in fewer than 5 repetitions. They can obey a known command the first time it's given at least 95% of the time. That's remarkable. That's a dog that understands, remembers, and wants to respond. But this intelligence needs the right approach. Positive reinforcement works best for training Labradors. Praise, treats, play. These are the tools that unlock their potential. Yelling doesn't work. Physical corrections create confusion and break trust. Labradors are soft dogs emotionally, sensitive to your displeasure. A harsh word can crush them. But encouragement, rewards, these light them up. They learn faster, retain better, perform more enthusiastically when training is positive. It's not just more humane, it's more effective. Show them what you want. Reward them when they do it. Watch them blossom. Breathe slowly. Let this knowledge unfold gently. But even intelligent dogs have limits. Short, playful sessions match their attention span best, especially as puppies and young adults. 15 minutes of focused training, that's the sweet spot. Maybe 20 minutes for an adult dog who's learned to concentrate. But long, repetitive drills? Their minds wander. They get bored. The quality of learning diminishes. Better to do 3 10-minute sessions throughout the day than one exhausting hour. Keep it fun. Keep it varied. End on a success. Leave them wanting more rather than relieved it's over. Play should be woven into training. Throw in a game of fetch as a reward. Let them swim after a good training session. They're working dogs, yes, but they're also eternally young at heart. That playfulness never really leaves them. Use it. Celebrate it. Let training feel like play, and you'll have an eager student for life. Now, let's talk about attachment. Labradors bond deeply with families and prefer indoor companionship. That bond we discussed, it extends to everyone in the household. They don't typically choose one person exclusively like some breeds do. They love the whole family. The person who feeds them, the person who walks them, the child who plays with them, the elderly grandparent who sits quietly. They have room in their heart for all of it. This makes them ideal family dogs. Everyone gets that Labrador devotion. Everyone matters. And they want to be inside. With you. not outside in a kennel. Not relegated to the garage or the yard. They want to be on the couch, on the bed if you'll allow it, at your feet while you work, in the kitchen while you cook. Physical proximity to their people, that's their happy place. This isn't a breed that can live outside. It would be cruel, not just to their body, but to their spirit. Let yourself relax deeper now. Here's something you'll notice immediately with a Labrador puppy. They mouth affectionately due to retrieving instincts. Puppies of all breeds mouth, it's how they explore the world. But Labrador puppies are especially oral. They carry things. They chew things. They put their mouth on your hand, your arm, your clothes. Not biting, mouthing. It's their retrieving heritage expressing itself. Their mouth is their tool. It's how they interact with the world. It's how they show affection, the way they'd carry a duck gently. It feels strange at first, sometimes alarming to new owners. But it's normal. It's instinct. It's who they are. But you can work with it. Carry toys help redirect oral fixation. Always have a toy available. When the puppy comes to you with that moody energy, give them something appropriate to carry. A rope toy. A ball. A stuffed animal. Redirect rather than punish. Not my hand, here, carry this instead. Over time, they learn what's acceptable to mouth and what isn't. Many adult Labradors carry toys around the house, greeting you at the door with a stuffed animal in their mouth, so happy they need something to hold. It's endearing, a quirk that traces back to centuries of retrieving breeding. Breathe, rest in this understanding. What about protection? Are they guard dogs? Labradors alert bark but welcome guests warmly. They'll let you know someone's at the door. They might bark when a stranger approaches the house. That's the alert part. But once you open the door, once you indicate this person is welcome, the Labrador transforms into a greeting committee. Tail wagging. Maybe bringing a toy. Wanting to say hello. They're not suspicious. They're not protective in that stranger danger way. They assume everyone is friendly until proven otherwise. This makes them terrible guard dogs but wonderful social dogs. Burglars love them. They'll accept a treat and show you where the valuables are. But for families who want a friendly dog, one that won't be aggressive at the dog park or nervous around children, this temperament is perfect. They guard subtly rather than aggressively. If they sense you're genuinely frightened, if there's real danger, they might step between you and the threat. They might bark more seriously. But it's defensive, not offensive. They're not looking for a fight. They're looking to keep their family safe, preferably without violence. Some individuals have more protective instinct than others, but as a breed, aggression is rare. Undesirable. Selected against. Let yourself drift. Relax completely. And to ensure they develop properly, to help them become the confident, friendly dogs they're meant to be, early socialization prevents fear-based behaviors. The first few months of a puppy's life are critical. Expose them to everything. Different people, different ages, different races, people in wheelchairs, people with beards, people with hats, other dogs, cats, different environments, car rides, vet visits, grooming, loud noises, unusual surfaces. Each positive experience builds confidence. Each new thing becomes normal. A well-socialized Labrador is bomb-proof. Nothing phases them. New situations? No problem. Unexpected sounds? Just another Tuesday. But a Labrador raised in isolation, who doesn't experience variety during that critical window, can become fearful, reactive, anxious in new situations, and fear can lead to aggression, even in a breed as naturally friendly as this. It's rare, but it happens. Prevention through socialization is so much easier than trying to rehabilitate a fearful adult dog. So there you have it, the Labrador mind. Eager to please and deeply people-oriented. Highly intelligent and ready to learn. Responsive to positive training in short, fun sessions. Bonded to the whole family and desperate to be indoors with them. Moody from retrieving instinct but redirectable to toys. Alert to strangers but welcoming rather than aggressive. Protective in subtle ways without aggression. And shaped beautifully by early socialization. This is a mind built for partnership. For cooperation. For joy in shared activities. They don't want to dominate you or challenge you. They want to be with you. To make you happy. To be part of your world in every possible way. It's a mind that trusts, that hopes, that loves without reservation. And in return, it asks only for your presence, your kindness, and your time. Rest now, breathe deeply, and appreciate that this intelligence and temperament, this perfect blend of smart and sweet, is what has made Labradors the most popular breed in so many countries for so many years. Not by accident. Not by marketing. But by being exactly what so many people need, a friend who's happy to see you, eager to learn from you, and devoted to you without condition. Let that warmth settle over you like a favorite blanket, soft, comforting, perfect, and drift, gently, into the next part of our journey together. And so, we come to reality. To the everyday truth of sharing your life with a Labrador. We've celebrated their history, their perfect design, their wonderful temperament. Now, gently, let's talk about what it actually means to live with one. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let's be honest together. First, the non-negotiable foundation. Labradors need 60 to 90 minutes of daily exercise. Not a suggestion. Not an ideal. A need. Every single day. Rain or shine. Hot or cold. Busy day at work or relaxing weekend. That wagging tail, that enthusiasm, that athletic body, they all require motion. Movement. Activity. An hour at minimum. 90 minutes is better. This isn't a casual stroll around the block, though that can be part of it. This is real exercise. Running. Swimming. Playing fetch until they're actually tired, not just pausing to catch their breath. Think about what that means for your schedule. For your lifestyle. It's a commitment measured in hours each week. 14 to 20 hours of exercise weekly. That's a part-time job. But it's also an opportunity to be outside, to move your own body, to share adventures. For active people, it's perfect. For sedentary people, it's a challenge. Let yourself absorb that truth. Breathe slowly. And not all exercise is equal. Fetching and swimming suit their instincts best. These activities tap into what they were bred for. Throw a ball, watch them sprint after it. Bring it back, ready immediately for another throw. That's retrieving. That's their heritage lighting up. Their whole being engaged. Body and mind working together. They can do this for an hour and still want more. It's not just exercise, it's fulfillment. Swimming? Even better. Put a Labrador near water, any water, and watch the transformation. A muddy pond. A lake. The ocean. Even a stream. They want in. They need in. Swimming is total body exercise. Building muscle without stressing joints. Cooling them down in summer. Satisfying that deep, ancient pull toward water. A 30-minute swim can tire a Labrador more thoroughly than an hour-long walk. It's magic. And it's necessary if you can provide it. Now, what happens if you can't meet these needs? Without exercise, Labradors may chew or escape yards. Not because they're bad dogs. Not because they're poorly trained. Because energy demands an outlet. That much drive, that much physicality. It has to go somewhere. If you don't direct it constructively, they'll direct it themselves. Destructively. Chewed furniture. Dug holes. Torn cushions. Destroyed doors. They're not being spiteful, they're being desperate. And they are clever. A bored Labrador is an escape artist. They'll dig under fences. Leap over them if they're not high enough. Find weak spots and exploit them. Not to run away, they don't want to leave you, but to find stimulation. Adventure. Something to do with all that pent-up energy. Prevention is simple. Meet the exercise needs, and these problems rarely occur. Breathe. Let this reality settle without anxiety. Puppies are their own special challenge. Labrador's puppies are bold, bouncy, and benefit enormously from obedience classes. That puppy energy? It's spectacular. Exhausting, but spectacular. They bounce, literally bounce like they're on springs. They investigate everything. They fear nothing. They're into everything. Your shoes. The trash. The kids' toys. The cat's food. Nothing is off limits in their minds. Everything is fascinating. Everything must be explored, tasted, carried. Obedience classes aren't just about teaching commands. They're about socialization. About learning to focus despite distractions. About burning mental energy. A puppy who's been to class, who's learned to think, who's been exposed to other dogs and people, is easier to live with. Calmer at home. More confident in the world. The investment of time and money pays dividends for years. Now, here's something interesting. Not all Labradors are the same. Fieldline Labs maintain higher energy longer than show lines. Field lines, those are dogs bred for hunting. For field trials. For work. They are leaner. More intense. That energy, it doesn't really diminish with age. A 5-year-old fieldline lab can have the energy of a 2-year-old showline lab. They're spectacular athletes, but they're demanding. They need more exercise. More mental stimulation. More everything. They're for serious enthusiasts, hunters, competitors, people whose lifestyle matches that intensity. In contrast, show labs, also called bench labs, often mellow earlier. These are dogs bred for the show ring. For temperament and appearance. They're typically stockier. Calmer. Still energetic. Still needing exercise. But the edge is softer. By 3 or 4 years old, They're noticeably calmer than their fieldline cousins. They're wonderful family dogs. Still athletic enough for hikes and swims, but less overwhelming for the average owner. Neither is better. They're just different. Choose based on your lifestyle and energy level. Let yourself relax deeper now. What helps any Labrador thrive? Labradors thrive on routine and structure. Wake up at the same time. Feed at the same times. Walk at predictable hours. Bedtime rituals. They're not rigid. You can vary things occasionally. But that basic framework, it provides security. They know what's coming. They can relax into the predictability. Without routine, some labs become anxious, pacing, whining, following you constantly. Not because something's wrong, but because they don't know what to expect. When is dinner? When are we walking? The uncertainty stresses them. Create a schedule. Stick to it reasonably. Watch your Labrador relax into it. They'll even anticipate it, standing by the door at walk time, heading to their food bowl before you've said anything. That's not just habit, it's comfort. It's knowing their world is stable and predictable. And where do they want to be in that routine? Labradors prefer family time over kennel isolation. Always. Every time. They don't want to be outside dogs. They don't want to live in a kennel, however nice. They want to be in the house. In the room where you are. Lying at your feet while you watch TV. Following you from kitchen to bedroom to bathroom. Not because they're needy exactly, because they're pack animals. And you're the pack. Being separated from the pack, that's unnatural. That's stressful. They'll tolerate it if they must, but they'll never prefer it. Crate training for housebreaking? Fine. A crate as a safe space when you're out briefly? Acceptable. But a dog that lives primarily in a crate or kennel? That's a sad Labrador. An unfulfilled Labrador. They need to be woven into the fabric of your daily life. Breathe deeply. Rest in this understanding. Remember what we said about retrieving instinct. Strong retrieving urges persist into adulthood in Labradors. This doesn't fade. A 10-year-old lab still wants to fetch. Still lights up when you pick up a ball. Still brings you toys hopefully. That drive to carry things, to bring things back, it's permanent. Lifelong. It's who they are at a cellular level. This is wonderful if you enjoy playing fetch. If you have a yard or access to a park. If you can throw a ball while walking. But if you hate repetitive games? If you find fetch boring? Living with a Labrador might be frustrating. They'll keep bringing you things. Keep hoping. Keep trying to engage you in this fundamental expression of their nature. Embrace it. Celebrate it. It's one of the purest joys of the breed, that eternal enthusiasm for the retrieve. And finally, perhaps most importantly, mental stimulation is as important as physical activity. You can run a Labrador for 2 hours, exhaust the body completely, and if you haven't engaged the mind, you've done only half the job. They need to think, to problem solve, to learn. Puzzle toys where they have to figure out how to get treats. Training sessions teaching new commands. Scent games where they search for hidden objects. Anything that makes them use that intelligent brain. A mentally stimulated Labrador is a calmer Labrador. A satisfied Labrador. 10 minutes of focus training can tire them as much as 30 minutes of fetch. Feed them through puzzle toys instead of bowls. Hide treats around the house for them to find. Teach them the names of their toys. Keep that mind engaged, and you'll have a happier, better behaved companion. So there it is, daily life with a Labrador. 60 to 90 minutes of exercise every single day. Fetching and swimming as perfect outlets. Destructive behavior when exercise is lacking. Bold, bouncy puppies who need obedience classes. Field lines with intense, lasting energy. Show lines that mellow somewhat earlier. A need for routine and structure. A desperate preference for family time over isolation. Lifelong retrieving urges. And mental stimulation as critical as physical exercise. This is not a low-maintenance breed. This is not a dog that fits easily into a busy, sedentary lifestyle. But for the right person, for someone active, someone who wants a companion for adventures, someone who has time and energy to invest, the Labrador is perfect. Not despite these demands, but because of them. Because meeting these needs means you're both outside, both moving, both engaged with life. Rest now, breathe deeply, and consider honestly whether this level of commitment matches your life. There's no judgment either way. Just truth. Just the reality of what this breed needs to thrive. Let that honesty settle over you gently, like evening light fading to dusk, peaceful, clear, true, and drift, softly, knowing that understanding leads to better choices, for you and for the dog. And now, we enter the realm of variation, of genetics, of the beautiful diversity within a single breed. Let's explore together, slowly, gently, how one foundation became many expressions. Breathe deeply, and let's talk about color and line. In the beginning, there was only one color. All early Labradors were black. Every single one. Those dogs imported from Newfoundland, those foundation animals in English kennels, they were uniformly black. Dark as midnight. Dark as coal. It wasn't a choice. It was simply what they were. The genes for other colors existed, certainly, hidden, recessive, waiting. But they didn't express. Black was dominant. Black was universal. For decades, if you saw a Labrador, it was black. The color became synonymous with the breed. Picture those early dogs, working the estates, retrieving waterfowl, all wearing that same dark coat. Elegant. Practical. Striking against green fields and grey water. Let that image settle. Breathe slowly. Then, something changed. Chocolate Labs appeared in 1892. Not through planned breeding initially, but through surprise. Two black dogs bred together, and suddenly, in the litter, a brown puppy. Rich chocolate brown. It shocked the breeders. They didn't understand genetics yet, didn't know about recessive genes. But there it was. Proof that other colors lurked in the bloodlines. Some breeders culled these chocolate puppies, considered them inferior, mistakes. Others were intrigued. Began deliberately breeding to produce more. The chocolate lab was born, not created, but revealed. And a few years later, another surprise. Yellow Labs emerged in 1899 with Ben of Hyde. Ben of Hyde, a name that appears in countless yellow lab pedigrees. He wasn't the first yellow ever born. There are records of earlier ones, dismissed or unrecorded officially. But Ben of Hyde was documented, registered, accepted. He opened the door for Yellow to become legitimate, to be valued rather than discarded. Yellow is a broad term. It ranges from nearly white cream to deep fox red. But in 1899, it was revolutionary. A third color. A third expression of the same breed. The genetic puzzle was becoming visible, though understanding would take decades more. Breathe. Let this history unfold gently. Now we can explain what those early breeders couldn't. Coat color is controlled by MC1R, agouti, and CBD103 genes. Don't worry about the technical names. Just understand that color in Labradors is determined by 3 genetic switches. Each puppy inherits 2 copies of each gene, one from each parent. The combinations determine color. MC1R controls whether the coat is dark or light. Agouti determines whether pigment is black or brown. CBD103 affects intensity. Black requires dominant genes at certain locations. Chocolate requires recessive brown at one location. Yellow requires recessive genes at a different location that essentially block all dark pigment. It's elegant, really, a simple system that creates 3 distinct colors from the same basic palette. And here's what's magical about it. A single litter can produce black, yellow, and chocolate puppies. If both parents carry the right hidden genes, if both are heterozygous at the right locations, one breeding can produce all 3 colors. 8 puppies, 3 black, 3 yellow, 2 chocolate, or any variation. It's not rare. It's not strange. It's just genetics playing out. Siblings of different colors, all equally Labrador, all carrying the same heritage. Let yourself relax into this understanding. But myths persist about color. So let's address them clearly. There is no scientific evidence linking coat color to temperament. None. Yellow labs aren't calmer. Chocolate labs aren't more hyperactive. Black labs aren't more intelligent. These are myths, stereotypes, anecdotes elevated to false fact. Color is determined by genes that affect pigment production. Temperament is determined by completely different genes, plus environment, training, socialization. They don't overlap. Any perceived differences? They're coincidental. Or they're the result of breeding choices. Certain lines happen to be certain colors and also happen to have certain temperaments. But the color itself? It doesn't cause the temperament. A poorly bred black lab can be just as neurotic as a poorly bred chocolate. A well-bred yellow can be just as driven as a well-bred black. Judge the individual. Judge the breeding, not the color. Now, beyond color, there's another major division. Field labs are leaner with thinner coats. These are the working lines, the hunting dogs, the field trial competitors. They're built like athletes. Lighter bone, less bulk, more leg. The coat is less dense, less plush. Still water repellent, but streamlined. Everything about them says performance. They move with speed and efficiency. They're bred for function above all. Often intensely high energy. Driven. Focused. Beautiful in motion. In contrast, English show labs have blockier heads and heavier builds. Also called bench labs, these are bred for the show ring. For conformation to the breed standard as interpreted by show judges. The heads are broader, more substantial. The bodies are stockier, more chest, more bone. The coat is thicker, more luxurious. They move with power rather than speed. They're often calmer in temperament, though still energetic by most breed standards. Neither type is wrong. They're just different purposes expressed through selective breeding. Breathe deeply. Rest in this knowledge. Now, about those fox red Labradors you might have seen. Fox red Labs carry dilution genes with the genetic notation EB. Fox red is actually a shade of yellow, the darkest end of the yellow spectrum. That deep, russet red. Like an Irish setter's color. It's always been genetically possible, but it was selected against for decades. Breeders preferred pale yellow or cream. Fox red was considered undesirable. But fashion changes. Now fox red is sought after, celebrated, deliberately bred for. The genetics. The EE combination blocks dark pigment, making the dog yellow. The BB makes any remaining pigment brown rather than black. Together, with genes for intense pigmentation, you get that rich red color. It's still a yellow lab genetically. Just a specific, striking shade. And here's something important about competition and recognition. All colors compete equally in conformation shows. Black, yellow, chocolate. They're judged by the same standard. Color is noted but not weighted. An excellent black lab and an excellent chocolate lab have equal chances of winning. The structure matters. The movement. The head. The coat quality. Not the color itself. This is how it should be, because color is superficial to what makes a Labrador a Labrador. Field trials? Same thing. Any color can compete. Any color can win. The work is what matters. The nose. The drive. The retrieving ability. Black doesn't give an advantage. Yellow doesn't handicap. It's irrelevant to performance. So there you have it. The story of variation. All starting as black. Chocolate appearing in 1892. Yellow emerging in 1899 with Ben of Hyde. Colors controlled by 3 genetic switches. Multiple colors possible in one litter. No link between color and temperament. Field lines lean and driven. Show lines stocky and substantial. Fox red as a shade of yellow. And all colors equal in competition. This diversity is strength. It allows people to choose the look they prefer, the line that matches their lifestyle, without sacrificing the core qualities that make a Labrador a Labrador. Whether black as night or pale as cream, whether lean field athlete or substantial show dog, they're all the same breed. All carrying that St. John's water dog heritage. All capable. All worthy. Rest now, breathe deeply, and appreciate that genetics creates variety without diminishing unity. Every Labrador, regardless of shade or shape, is still fundamentally, completely, wonderfully, a Labrador. Let that understanding settle over you like starlight, each point of light different, but all part of the same vast sky. And drift, peacefully, into the next chapter of our journey together. And now, we must speak of time, of the body's limitations, of care and challenges. But let's speak of this calmly, peacefully, with the understanding that knowledge is love and awareness is responsibility. Breathe slowly, settle in, and let's talk honestly about health. First, the gift of years. Average lifespan ranges from 10 to 14 years in Labradors. Think about that span. A decade, sometimes more. 10 years of morning greetings and evening walks. Of adventures and quiet moments. Of growing together through seasons and changes. For a large breed, for an athletic, hard-working dog, this is a generous lifespan. Not as long as a small breed might live, but substantial, meaningful. Enough time to build a life together, to create countless memories, to grow old alongside each other. Let that settle, breathe. Older labs face their own issues. Laryngeal paralysis affects some older Labradors. The larynx, the voice box, contains cartilages that open during breathing. Normally, they pull apart when the dog inhales, allowing air in. With laryngeal paralysis, the nerves that control this movement degenerate. The cartilages can't open properly. Breathing becomes difficult, especially during exertion or heat. You'll hear noisy breathing, a roaring sound. The dog may overheat easily. Exercise intolerance develops. It typically affects dogs over 8 or 9 years old. Treatment ranges from managing conservatively, keeping them cool, avoiding stress, to surgery that permanently ties one cartilage open. It's not curable, but it's manageable. Quality of life can remain good with appropriate care. Here's something odd but benign. Cold tail causes temporary tail limpness after swimming or cold exposure. Also called limber tail or dead tail. The dog swims, especially in cold water, or gets chilled, and suddenly the tail hangs limp. Just hangs there like a rope. No wagging. Sometimes painful if you touch the base. It looks alarming. But it's not serious. It's temporary inflammation of the tail muscles. Rest, warmth, and time, maybe some anti-inflammatories, and within days, the tail is back to its wagging self. It's more common in working dogs. In dogs who swim frequently. In dogs exposed to cold. Once it happens, some dogs are prone to recurrence. But it's not dangerous. Just uncomfortable and odd-looking. Let yourself sink deeper now. No tension. And here's the empowering part. Genetic testing helps reduce inherited conditions significantly. Hip dysplasia. Elbow dysplasia. Progressive retinal atrophy. Exercise-induced collapse. Centronuclear myopathy. All of these and more can be screened for genetically or through physical testing. Responsible breeders test their breeding stock. They don't breed dogs who carry problematic mutations. They X-ray hips and elbows. They certify eyes. They DNA test. This doesn't guarantee every puppy will be healthy. Genetics is probability, not certainty. But it dramatically improves the odds. A puppy from health-tested parents is far less likely to develop inherited problems than a puppy from untested parents. When choosing a breeder, when deciding where your Labrador comes from, health testing should be non-negotiable. It's the foundation of responsible breeding. So there's the health reality, presented gently but completely. 10 to 14 years typically, with 11 being average. Chocolate labs living slightly shorter. Obesity as a major, preventable threat. A quarter carrying genes for constant hunger. Growing joints vulnerable to OCD. Exercise-induced collapse in some field lines. Laryngeal paralysis in older dogs. Cold tail after swimming. and genetic testing as the tool to reduce inherited risk. This isn't meant to frighten. Every breed has vulnerabilities. Labradors are, overall, relatively healthy. Most live good lives. Most never face serious problems. But awareness means you'll watch for signs. You'll choose your breeder carefully. You'll keep them lean. You'll catch problems early when they do occur. And ultimately, we get the time we get. What matters is the quality of that time. The love shared. The joy experienced. The bond forged. 11 years of happiness is worth more than a lifetime without this connection. Rest now, breathe deeply, and hold this truth gently. We care for them as best we can. We treasure every moment. And we accept, with grace, that love always includes the possibility of loss. But oh, the love is worth it. Always, eternally, worth it. Let that peace wash over you like a gentle tide, inevitable, natural, right, and drift, softly, toward the next chapter of our journey together. And now, we arrive at something profound. Something that transcends companionship. We've talked about history, about bodies and minds, about daily life and health. But now we speak of heroism, of service, of lives saved by this remarkable breed. Breathe deeply, settle in, and prepare to be moved. Let's begin with the tool that makes it all possible. Labradors have approximately 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses. 300 million. We humans have about 6 million. Imagine the difference. We walk through the world seeing and hearing. They walk through it smelling. Every breath brings information we can't even conceive of. Layers upon layers of scent, telling stories, revealing presence, detecting what's invisible to every other sense. Those receptors line the nasal cavity, connecting to a brain region devoted entirely to processing scent information. In humans, that region is tiny. In dogs, it's massive. Proportionally enormous. The Labrador's brain is literally wired to smell, to analyze, to distinguish, to remember. 300 million receptors, each one a door to information, each one a key to understanding the world in ways we never will. Let that magnitude settle, breathe slowly, and the distance they can detect scents. Labradors can detect scents over long distances, miles in the right conditions. A person walking through a forest, their scent particles drifting on the wind, settling on leaves, absorbed into the ground. A Labrador can follow that trail hours later, can determine direction, can distinguish one person's trail from another's, can smell where you've been, what you've touched, who you've been near. In perfect conditions, with wind carrying scent toward them, they can detect a source miles away. Not clearly enough to track to it necessarily, but enough to know it's there. That's not supernatural. That's biology. That's 300 million receptors working in concert with a brain designed to process what they find. And here's where it becomes medical. Labradors can detect certain cancers through scent. Lung cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, bladder cancer. Not by looking, not by imaging, by smell. Cancer cells produce volatile organic compounds, chemical signatures, that differ from healthy cells. We can't smell the difference. But Labradors can. They can smell it on breath, on urine, on skin. With training, they can detect cancers earlier than some conventional screening methods. This isn't widespread medical practice yet, but the research is clear. The ability exists. Dogs are being trained to screen samples. Some are working in experimental programs, identifying cancer in patients before symptoms appear. The nose of a Labrador, saving lives through detection, through early warning, through that extraordinary sense we can barely comprehend. Breathe. Let this wonder settle over you. Now, the broader picture of service. Labradors make up 60 to 70% of U.S. service dogs. Not just guide dogs, all service dogs. Dogs who assist people with disabilities. Who open doors, retrieve dropped items, alert to sounds, provide stability for walking, interrupt anxiety attacks, detect oncoming seizures. The Labrador's temperament makes them perfect. Their eagerness to please, their intelligence, their gentle nature, their reliability. Service dog training is rigorous, demanding. Many dogs wash out, but Labradors succeed at higher rates than most breeds. They have the right combination of traits. Smart enough to learn complex tasks. Calm enough to work in public. Friendly enough to be non-threatening. Driven enough to stay focused. Not every Labrador is suited for service work, but the breed as a whole dominates the field. And in one specific area, they're nearly universal. Nearly 70% of guide dogs worldwide are Labradors. Guide dogs for the blind and visually impaired. Leading through crowds. Stopping at curbs. Navigating obstacles. Making decisions that keep their handler safe. This requires exceptional intelligence, calm nerves, and that soft, gentle temperament. An aggressive dog can't guide. An anxious dog can't guide. But a Labrador can become someone's eyes, someone's independence, someone's freedom. Organizations around the world. Guide dogs for the blind. The Seeing Eye, countless others. They breed Labradors specifically for this work. Generation after generation selected for the perfect temperament. The perfect combination of traits. Most are Labs. Some are Lab crosses, often with Golden Retrievers. But the Labrador is the foundation. Let yourself relax into this knowledge. And there's a physical reason they excel. Their soft mouths allow gentle object retrieval for service work. Remember that soft mouth bred for retrieving waterfowl without damage? It translates perfectly to service tasks. Picking up a credit card without bending it. Retrieving a dropped medication bottle without crushing it. Bringing a phone without activating buttons. That precise, gentle grip, it's essential for service work. Other breeds might grab too hard, might damage what they're retrieving. But a Labrador, they can carry an egg without breaking it, can retrieve anything without harm. Now, let's meet some heroes by name. Endel earned Dog of the Millennium honours in Britain. Endel, a service dog who became legend. His handler was Alan Parton, a Gulf War veteran left severely disabled after injury. Unable to speak. Unable to walk without help. Memory damaged. Future bleak. And then came Endel. Endel learned to operate an ATM. To put cards in and retrieve cash. He learned to load and unload a washing machine. To fetch items by name, hundreds of items. He learned to position himself so Alan could use him for support when walking. Once, Alan was hit by a car in a parking lot, knocked from his wheelchair, unconscious. Endel pulled him into the recovery position, covered him with a blanket retrieved from the wheelchair, brought him his phone, then ran to a nearby hotel for help. He saved Alan's life that day, and he gave Alan years of independence, of dignity, of hope. Dog of the millennium. Not hyperbole. Truth. Breathe deeply. Feel the emotion. Across the world, another hero. Zanja detected over 3,300 kilograms of explosives in India. Zanja, a black Labrador working with the Mumbai police. Bomb detection. Through the 1990s, during a period of terrorist attacks, Zanja worked, sniffing packages, clearing buildings, finding explosives before they could detonate. Over 3 tons of explosives found and neutralized. Countless lives saved. He prevented multiple bombings. Worked until retirement. Was given a full police funeral when he died. The first dog in India to receive such honors. Heroes don't always walk on 2 legs. And on September 11, 2001, when towers fell and chaos reigned, Labradors served in the evacuations and aftermath. Search and rescue dogs, therapy dogs, working through rubble and smoke, finding survivors, offering comfort to the traumatized, working until exhausted, then working more. Their handlers couldn't stop them. They wanted to search, to help, to serve. That drive, that work ethic, it saved lives that day. And in the weeks after, therapy labs comforted first responders. Let exhausted firefighters bury their faces in fur and cry. Provided the wordless comfort only a dog can give. Let that image rest in your heart. And in Afghanistan, another name to remember. Sasha detected multiple IEDs, saving countless soldiers. Sasha, a yellow Labrador serving with British forces, trained to detect improvised explosive devices, the hidden bombs that killed and maimed. She would walk ahead of patrols, sniffing, searching. When she detected explosives, she'd sit, alert. That simple signal, it meant stop. It meant danger ahead. It meant a bomb squad could safely disarm what she'd found. She found device after device, saved patrol after patrol, until one day in 2008, an ambush. Taliban fighters opened fire. In the chaos, Sasha was killed. So was her handler. But the soldiers she'd been protecting survived, because of the work she'd done. She received the Dickin Medal posthumously, the highest award for animal bravery. Her handler's family said she was a hero, that she'd saved their son multiple times before that final day, that her service mattered, that she mattered. So there you have it, the nose that saves lives. 300 million olfactory receptors creating abilities we can barely comprehend. Scent detection over vast distances. Cancer detection through smell. 60 to 70% of U.S. service dogs. Nearly 70% of guide dogs worldwide. Soft mouths enabling gentle service tasks. Endel. Dog of the millennium. Zanja, bomb detector who saved thousands. Labs serving at 9/11. Sasha, who gave her life protecting others. This is not just a pet. This is not just a hunting dog. This is a breed that serves humanity at the highest level. That saves lives. That gives independence to the disabled. That detects danger before it strikes. That offers comfort in the darkest moments. The Labrador Retriever, companion, worker, and hero. All three. Always. Rest now, breathe deeply, and let gratitude fill your heart. For this breed. For these individual heroes. For the partnership between human and dog that makes such service possible. Let that gratitude settle over you like a blessing, warm, profound, deserved, and drift, peacefully, carrying these stories with you into sleep. And now, we arrive at celebration, at recognition, at the mark this breed has left on culture and sport and human hearts. We've traveled far together, through history and service, through daily life and heroism. Now, let's speak of excellence, of popularity, of legacy. Breathe slowly, settle in, and let's honor what the Labrador has become. First, the world of sport. Labradors excel in dock diving competitions. Picture a long dock extending over water, a dog at one end, handler with a toy at the other. The dog sprints, builds speed, launches into the air, soaring, flying almost, before splashing down 20 feet, 25 feet, sometimes 30 feet from the dock. Distance measured. Form judged. That combination of speed and power and water love. Labradors were made for this. Their webbed feet. Their otter tail. Their joy in water. They dominate the sport. Winning national championships. Setting records. Bringing crowds to their feet. It's pure athleticism. Pure joy. The dog running full speed. That moment of flight. The splash. Then swimming back eagerly to do it again. And again. They never tire of it. Never lose that enthusiasm. It's play and competition merged perfectly. Let that image form. Breathe deeply. But dock diving is relatively new. The older sport. The traditional sport. Labradors dominate retriever field trials worldwide. Field trials test what they were originally bred for. Finding game. Pointing or flushing. Retrieving. Following complex directions. Back to go away from the handler. Over to move left or right. Marking where multiple birds fall. Remembering the order. Retrieving each one correctly. It's mentally demanding. Physically challenging. And Labradors, they excel. Not just participate, excel. In America, in Britain, in Europe, wherever field trials are held, Labradors win. They compete against other retriever breeds. Golden Retrievers, Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, flat-coated Retrievers, and they win consistently. That combination of intelligence, drive, and biddability, it's unbeatable in the right hands. And it started with one dog. Peter of Farskley became the first Labrador field trial champion. The year was 1904. Peter of Farskley, a black dog who proved what Labradors could do, who established the breed in competitive field work, who demonstrated they weren't just estate dogs, they were champions. Every field trial champion since owes something to Peter. Every competition one traces back to that first victory. That validation. Breathe. Let this legacy unfold. Beyond fieldwork, Labradors perform well in AKC obedience and rally competitions. Obedience, where precision matters. Heeling perfectly. Staying despite distractions. Retrieving specific items. Jumping on command. It requires focus, discipline, partnership. Labs have the intelligence for it. The eagerness to please. They want to get it right. Want to make you proud. So they excel. Not as naturally as in field work perhaps, but consistently. Reliably. Rally is similar but more dynamic. Moving through a course with stations. Each station has a command: turn, sit, stay, down. Flowing from one to the next. It suits the Labrador temperament. Movement combined with obedience. Fun combined with precision. They earn titles. They compete at high levels. They bring home ribbons and rosettes and make their handlers smile. Now, let's talk about fame beyond sport. Labradors starred as Marley in the film Marley and Me. That movie, based on the book, about a yellow lab named Marley. Exuberant. Destructive. Lovable. Untrainable. A disaster and a blessing combined. Millions saw it. Millions cried at the end. It captured something true about Labradors, that chaos and love intertwined. That exhausting, overwhelming, unconditional devotion. 22 different Labradors played Marley, trained for specific scenes. But they all brought that essential Labrador nature to the screen. That joy. That energy. That heart. The movie made people laugh and sob. Made them want a Labrador, or made them realize they definitely didn't. Either way, it cemented the breed in popular culture. Let yourself relax deeper now. But popularity in film pales beside popularity in homes. Labradors led AKC registrations for 31 consecutive years. 31 years. From 1991 to 2022. Every single year, more Labradors registered than any other breed. Not close competitions, dominant victories. Tens of thousands more than the runner-up. Year after year. Generation after generation. Americans chose labs. For families. For hunting. For service. For companionship. They were the breed. The standard against which others were measured. And that streak, it broke a record. They surpassed the Poodle's popularity record. Poodles had held the top spot for 22 consecutive years, from 1960 to 1982. An impressive run. But Labradors exceeded it. 31 years. It seemed like it might never end. Like labs would be number one forever. Like nothing could displace them. But in 2023, change came. French Bulldogs overtook them in AKC registrations. For the first time in over 3 decades, Labradors weren't number one. French Bulldogs, compact, low energy, apartment friendly, became more popular. It reflects changing lifestyles. More urban living. Smaller spaces. Less time for exercise. The Frenchie fits modern life in ways the high-energy lab doesn't always. It's not a judgment on either breed. Just a shift. A change in what people need from their dogs. But 31 years. That's a legacy. That's impact. That's generations of Americans growing up with Labs as the default dog. The breed everyone knew. Everyone understood. Everyone had a story about. Breathe slowly. Rest in this history. And here's something delightful. The Labrador Party in Newfoundland was named after the breed. A political party. Seriously. In Newfoundland and Labrador, the Canadian province where it all began, a political party formed in 1969 called the Labrador Party, named for the region of Labrador, but also for the breed, celebrating that connection, that heritage, the dog that came from their shores, that became beloved worldwide. They claimed it with pride. The party doesn't exist anymore, but the name remains part of history. A footnote connecting politics and dogs in the most unexpected way. And finally, the ultimate recognition. Labradors remain among the most versatile dogs ever bred. We've traced this versatility throughout our journey. Water work and land work. Hunting and service. Competition and companionship. Detection and therapy. Family pet and working professional. Search and rescue and guide work. Dock diving and field trials. Obedience and just being there. Being present. Being exactly what's needed in any given moment. Few breeds can claim this range. Few breeds excel in so many arenas. The Labrador isn't the best at any single thing. There are better guard dogs, better herders, faster runners, stronger pullers. But for overall versatility, for being good, sometimes great, at almost everything, the Labrador stands nearly alone. That was the goal of those early breeders. Create a dog that can do everything. They succeeded. Beyond what they could have imagined. So there's the sporting and cultural legacy. Dock diving dominance. Field trial excellence starting with Peter of Farscally. Obedience and rally success. Marley making millions cry. 31 consecutive years as America's most popular breed. Surpassing the Poodle's record. Displaced finally by French Bulldogs in 2023. A political party bearing their name. And recognition as one of the most versatile dogs ever created. From Newfoundland fishing boats to Hollywood screens. From field trial courses to family living rooms. From search and rescue operations to therapy work in hospitals. The Labrador has done it all. Has been it all. Has touched millions of lives across centuries. This is not just a breed. This is a phenomenon. This is partnership between human and dog elevated to its highest expression. Working together. Living together. Succeeding together. Saving each other in countless ways. Rest now, breathe deeply, and feel the weight of this legacy. The Labrador Retriever, bred with purpose, proven through service, beloved through generations. A breed that has earned every accolade, every registration, every tear shed at their loss. They are not perfect. No breed is. But they are exactly what they were meant to be. And in being that, they've become something even greater. A symbol of loyalty, of service, of the best of what dogs can be. Let that pride settle over you like a warm embrace, deserved, profound, lasting, and drift, peacefully, toward our final chapter together. And so, we come to the present, to today, to right now. We've traveled through centuries, through work and war and service and sport. But what of the Labrador in this moment? What are they now, in our modern world? Let's speak softly, gently, winding down together toward rest. Even today, even now, Labradors still retrieve game for hours without fatigue. Take one hunting. Watch them work. They run, they swim, they search, they retrieve. 4 hours. Not minutes. Hours. They come back panting, tongues lolling, clearly exerted. You think they're done. But throw one more time, and they're off. That engine never truly empties. That drive never fully exhausts. After a full day in the field, 8 hours of work, they'll still want to play when you get home. It's remarkable. Almost supernatural. But it's just Labrador. That endurance built over generations. Still present. Still powerful. Let that image settle. Breathe slowly. And why this persistence? Because their instincts remain unchanged after centuries. The dog working a field trial today, it's using the same drives as the St. John's water dog hauling nets in 1800. The genetic code hasn't been diluted. The purpose hasn't been bred out. Yes, many labs never hunt, never see a duck, never retrieve anything but tennis balls. But the instinct remains. Dormant perhaps, but present. Ready. Waiting. It's why a lab puppy who's never been trained automatically wants to pick things up and carry them. Why they naturally love water. Why they search and seek and bring back. Nobody taught them. It's simply who they are. Centuries pass. The world changes. But the Labrador, at its core, remains the same dog. That's not stubbornness. That's integrity. That's the breed staying true to itself. And this integrity allows flexibility. Labradors adapt equally well to work or family life. A field trial champion can retire and become a gentle family pet. A family pet can discover hidden working ability if given the opportunity. They don't need hunting to be happy, but they can hunt brilliantly if asked. They don't require a job, but they'll excel at any job you give them. This adaptability, it's part of their versatility. They fit where they're placed, thrive where they're planted. As long as their basic needs are met, exercise, companionship, purpose, they're content in almost any role. Breathe deeply. Let yourself relax. Now, the practical realities of keeping them. Consistent grooming manages heavy shedding in Labradors. They shed constantly, year-round. Black hairs on light furniture. Yellow hairs on dark clothes. It's part of the package. That dense double coat, it maintains itself through shedding. Old hairs fall out. New ones grow in. It never stops. But with regular brushing, with vacuuming, with acceptance, it's manageable. Not a deal breaker. Just reality. You'll find lab hair in your food sometimes. On your pillow. In your car. Everywhere. It's the price of admission. Most owners decide it's worth it. And twice a year, it intensifies. Weekly brushing controls seasonal coat blows. Spring and fall, when day length changes, they blow their coat. The undercoat comes out in clumps. Handfuls. It's shocking how much fur can come off one dog. During these periods, daily brushing helps. Using an undercoat rake. Spending 10 minutes removing what's already loose. Do this, and you control where the hair goes. Skip it, and it goes everywhere. Your choice. But the shedding happens either way. Better to manage it than fight it. Let your breathing slow. Sink deeper into relaxation. One area needs consistent attention. Ear checks prevent moisture-related infections in Labradors. Those drop ears. They create a warm, dark environment inside the ear canal. After swimming, after baths, after rolling in wet grass, moisture gets trapped. Bacteria thrive. Yeast grows. Infections develop. They are painful. They smell. They require treatment. But they are preventable. Check ears weekly. Dry them gently after water exposure. Use a proper ear cleaner if needed. Catch redness or odor early. A simple routine saves discomfort and vet bills. This is especially important for labs because of how much they love water. Every swim is an opportunity for ear problems. But don't stop them from swimming. Just care for the ears afterward. The joy they get from water is worth the minor maintenance. Now, inside the home, calm routines help labs settle indoors. Remember, they're high energy, but they can learn to be calm inside. It takes training. It takes structure. After exercise, after their needs are met, they should settle. Teaching place, a specific spot where they go to rest. Rewarding calmness. Not interacting with them when they're amped up. Providing a predictable rhythm to the day. They learn. They adapt. A well-exercised lab who knows the routine can be surprisingly peaceful indoors. Lying quietly while you read. Sleeping at your feet while you work. It's possible. But it requires consistency from you. Breathe, rest in this understanding. And what defines them? What's at their absolute core? Their loyalty defines their character above all else. Loyalty to their people. To their family. To you. It's not the showy loyalty of a guard dog protecting territory. It's quieter. Deeper. It's being there. Always there. Following you. Choosing to be near you. Waiting by the door when you leave. Exploding with joy when you return. That bond, that attachment, that absolute devotion to their humans, it's the defining characteristic. Everything else, the intelligence, the athleticism, the versatility, it all serves this central truth. They love you. Completely. Without reservation. Without condition. That loyalty is why they make such good service dogs. Why they'll work until exhaustion. Why they give everything. Because their person needs them to. Because loyalty demands it. And to bring out their best. Labradors thrive when given purpose. Not aimless exercise. Not just existing. Purpose. A job. Even if that job is be the family companion. They need to feel useful. Needed. Appreciated. Give them tasks. Let them carry things on walks. Teach them to help with household chores, bringing you items, closing doors, carrying their own leash. Train them. Challenge them. Let them succeed at things. They bloom under purpose. Wilt without it. It's not complicated. Just make them feel like they matter. Like what they do contributes. Like they're needed. Because they need to be needed. It's fundamental to who they are. Let yourself drift now. Peacefully. And finally, the truth that ties everything together. The Labrador Retriever remains a working dog at heart. Even the ones who've never worked. Even the family pets. Even the ones who've lived lives of leisure and love. At their core, in their DNA, in their spirit, they're working dogs. They want to retrieve, to please, to serve, to have purpose. You can give them that in modern ways, through play, through training, through including them in your life. You don't need to hunt, but you do need to honor what they are. They're not ornamental. They're not passive. They're not low-maintenance couch potatoes. They're athletes, workers, partners. They ask for your time, your energy, your engagement, and in return, they give you everything. Their loyalty, their joy, their unconditional presence, their working heart, beating in rhythm with yours. So there you have it, the Labrador today. Still capable of hours of retrieving. Instincts unchanged by centuries. Adapting to work or family. Shedding constantly but manageably. Needing ear care and calm routines. Defined by loyalty. Thriving on purpose. And remaining, always, a working dog at heart. They are what they've always been. What they were bred to be. What they'll continue to be. Faithful. Capable. Devoted. Ready. Rest now, breathe deeply, and know that this breed, this remarkable, versatile, loyal breed, has earned its place in human hearts. Not through marketing. Not through fashion. But through centuries of service. Of partnership. Of being exactly what was needed. Exactly when it was needed. The Labrador Retriever. Born of water and work. Shaped by purpose. Beloved for character. And present, still working, still loving, still serving. Let that peaceful truth settle over you like a gentle blanket. Warm. Comforting, complete, and drift, softly, into our final moments together. And now, we arrive at the end. The quiet closing. The gentle fade. We've learned so much together, traveled so far. But there are still whispers, small truths, subtle details that complete the picture. Let's explore these final facts together. Softly, like the last notes of a lullaby. Breathe, rest, and listen. Here's something important to understand. Labradors have a naturally high pain tolerance, which can cause them to hide injuries. They are stoic, tough. That working heritage means they don't complain easily. A dog bred to work in icy water, to push through brush, to keep going despite discomfort, they learned not to show pain. But this means you must watch carefully. A limp they brush off might be serious. Reluctance to jump might indicate joint pain. They'll keep playing, keep working, keep trying to please you, even when hurt. So monitor their behavior closely. Watch for subtle changes. Trust your instincts. They won't always tell you when something's wrong. You have to notice. Let that awareness settle. Breathe slowly. We've talked about their swimming ability, but let's be specific. Their broad chest and lung capacity allow sustained swimming without fatigue, even in cold water. That chest, dropping deep between the front legs, it's not just for show. It houses large lungs. Powerful lungs that can pull in oxygen efficiently. Process it. Fuel muscles for extended periods. Combined with that insulating coat, those webbed feet, that propelling tail, they're swimming machines. Water temperature that would exhaust other dogs barely affects them. They can swim, and swim, and swim. It's effortless for them. Natural as breathing. More natural than breathing, perhaps. And their mouth, that remarkable mouth. Labradors instinctively adjust their bite pressure depending on the object they're holding. A trait refined through generations of retrieving fragile game. Pick up a tennis ball. Firm grip. Pick up a bird. Gentle. Impossibly gentle. They know the difference without being taught. A raw egg placed in a trained Labrador's mouth. They'll hold it without breaking it. Carry it. Return it intact. This isn't magic. It's selective breeding. Generations of choosing dogs with the softest mouths. Until it became instinct. Until puppies are born knowing how to be gentle. How to adjust. How to carry without crushing. Breathe. Let yourself drift deeper. You might have noticed something, a quiet presence. Many Labradors exhibit shadowing behavior, quietly following their owners from room to room. Not demanding attention. Not getting in the way. Just there. You stand up from the couch. They stand too. You walk to the kitchen. They follow. You go upstairs. Moments later, they're lying outside the bathroom door. Waiting. Not anxious. Not needy. Just preferring to be near. It's their pack instinct expressing itself. You're the pack. Being separated, even by a closed door, feels wrong to them. So they follow. Quietly. Contentedly. Just wanting to be where you are. Some people find it endearing. Others find it suffocating. But it's pure Labrador. That loyalty made physical. That devotion expressed through proximity. Now, about their temperament. The breed's friendliness is linked to lower levels of fear-based aggression compared to most working dogs. Most working breeds have some suspicion. Some wariness of strangers. It keeps them safe. Helps them guard or protect. But Labradors? That was bred out, or rather, never emphasized. They were never meant to guard. Never meant to be suspicious. So they are not. Fear-based aggression, attacking because scared, it's rare in well-bred labs. They meet the world with openness. With trust. Sometimes foolish trust. But it makes them safe. Predictable. Wonderful with children and strangers. It's not training. It's genetics. It's who they are. Let your breathing slow even more. Rest. And they stay young. Labradors maintain puppy-like play behavior longer than many breeds, often into middle age. A 7-year-old lab will still pounce on toys. Still play bow. Still zoom around the yard with ridiculous enthusiasm. Other breeds mature, become dignified. Labradors? They're eternal teenagers. Goofy. Enthusiastic. Silly. Even senior labs, 10, 11 years old. They have moments of pure puppyhood. Sudden bursts of energy. Playfulness that makes you laugh. It keeps them young. Keeps you young. It's exhausting sometimes. But it's also beautiful. That refusal to fully grow up. That retention of joy. Here's something that affects training. Their emotional sensitivity makes them highly responsive to human tone and body language. Labradors read you constantly. They notice when you're happy, sad, angry, stressed. Your tone of voice carries meaning beyond words. A harsh word can devastate them. A pleased tone can make them wiggle with joy. They watch your body language, your posture, your facial expressions. They're attuned to you in ways that feel almost supernatural. This sensitivity is why positive training works so well. Why they try so hard to please. Why they bond so deeply. They're not just obeying, they're connecting, reading, responding, being true partners. Breathe, drift, rest. But this sensitivity has a cost. Labradors can become depressed if deprived of daily interaction, even if physical needs are met. Food, water, shelter, exercise, all provided. But no meaningful human contact. They wilt. They become sad. Listless. It's not dramatic usually. Just a dimming. A loss of spark. They need interaction. Conversation. Touch. Eye contact. Training. Play. Connection. Without it, even a well-cared-for lab is suffering. Quietly. They're social creatures. Pack animals. Emotional beings. Isolation, even physical isolation while in the same house, it hurts them. So give them your presence. Not just your provision. Your attention. Your time. Your heart. And yet, they're flexible. The breed's adaptability allows individuals to shift successfully from high-drive working roles to calm companion lifestyles. A field trial champion can retire to a family. A military working dog can become a therapy dog. A guide dog can become a beloved pet. They adjust. They adapt. They find contentment in new roles. This doesn't mean it's easy. Transitions require time and patience. But Labradors can do it. Can shift gears. Can find new purpose. Their versatility isn't just about doing many things. It's about moving between them. About being what's needed in each season of life. Let yourself sink completely now. Peaceful, relaxed. And finally, the ultimate truth. Despite global popularity, the Labrador Retriever remains one of the closest modern breeds to its original working purpose. Think about that. Millions of labs worldwide. Most are pets. Never hunt. Never work professionally. And yet, the breed hasn't changed fundamentally. A modern lab could do the work of its ancestors. Could haul nets. Could retrieve game. Could work all day in cold water. The instincts are intact. The ability is present. The purpose remains clear. So many breeds have split into working and show lines so different they barely resemble each other. But labs, even show labs can hunt. Even pet labs have working drive. The breed has stayed true. Hasn't drifted. Hasn't lost its essence despite overwhelming popularity. That's remarkable. That's integrity. That's a breed that knows what it is, and refuses to become anything less. So there, our final truths. High pain tolerance requiring vigilant monitoring. Chest and lungs built for endless swimming. Instinctive bite pressure adjustment. Quiet shadowing behavior. Low fear-based aggression. Eternal puppy playfulness. Deep emotional sensitivity. Potential for depression without interaction. remarkable adaptability between roles, and closeness to original purpose despite modern life. 100 facts. 10 chapters. The complete story of the Labrador Retriever. From Newfoundland shores to worldwide homes. From fishing boats to family rooms. From working partners to beloved companions. We've traced the journey, honored the heroes, understood the challenges, celebrated the triumphs. And now, we rest. The story is told. The breed is revealed. The Labrador Retriever, in all its complexity, in all its beauty, in all its imperfection and perfection intertwined, stands before you clearly. If this is your breed, you know them now. You understand what they need, what they offer, what they are. If this isn't your breed, you've still gained something. Understanding, appreciation, respect for what these dogs have accomplished and continue to accomplish. Either way, the knowledge is yours now. Carry it gently. Share it wisely. Honor it always. Rest now, breathe deeply, and let sleep come naturally. Let these stories settle into your memory like snow falling softly on quiet ground. Let the Labrador's spirit, that joyful, loyal, working heart, warm you as you drift into dreams. The journey is complete. The tale is told. And you are ready now for peaceful sleep. Good night, sleep well, and may you wake refreshed, carrying with you a deeper understanding of one of the world's most remarkable breeds. The Labrador Retriever. Born of necessity, refined through purpose, beloved through service, and eternal, always eternal, in the hearts of those who've known them. Rest, drift, sleep. All is well.